Oh, hello all. I'll just keep talking. I was just reading the so-called notifications from Facebook as to whether there is an error. So I'm just going to assume that everything's actually still okay. You can hear me, you can see me. So how are we? Monday evening here in Australia, and also New Zealand. But what I thought I would actually do tonight is I had a bit of good news earlier today. So I thought I would actually just give you a sneak peek and share what I've been working on and what I still have to work on, because there's a lot of things that still need to be done here. But I've got a deadline of a presentation, a coaching program that I'm launching this Sunday, and I've got a lot of things to do to actually get ready beforehand for that one. But I thought I would actually just share a little bit about what I've actually been working on. I'm also very conscious that, and this is what I personally would like to do, is throw out a challenge that not necessarily around exercise or, nutrition, but also on the other pillars. If you can remember that 5 phases that I work on, which I call my Power 5, around mindset, nutrition, exercise, fasting, and sleep. And I know the sleep is one that I need to actually sort of put more attention on. But I thought that a challenge that we could work on for June, for those who want to actually do this, totally voluntary, but it's something that I'm going to work on, so that, and make sure that I actually give little updates during the day if I can, because it's actually quite I'm actually looking at it, and I will share the screen, but it's going to be around confidence. So it's like a 30-day confidence challenge, because I feel that the most important area of those Power 5 framework, out of the Power 5 framework, is mindset, and just getting it, continually feeding your mind with good thoughts, positive thoughts, in order for you to build that self-belief that you can actually do something, and not to be kind, to be more kind to yourself. Okay, so I will share my screen while I give you what I think might be the actual confidence challenge that we could try. If I find another one that's actually better by tomorrow, because I'd like to start June 1st, then I'll post it. But at the moment, I can see this one looks to be pretty good. All right, so let me share. Okay, so it's on Pinterest. Pinterest is a good site. I'm not on it that often. Actually, this is a video. Every time I sort of scroll up, I wonder if I can just reduce that down a bit so you can see it. It's a video, but it's a 30-day confidence challenge. So this looks fairly straightforward, like list your best qualities. Watch again. I've got to actually pause this. Pause. Right. So day 1, list your best qualities. 2, affirmations, positive thoughts. 3, maybe if you don't actually exercise daily, then, just put in some form of exercise, or something that you're doing where you're moving around a bit more, maybe. Day 4, keep a promise to yourself. 5, read a book. I'm not sure how much of the book you can actually read in one day, but maybe you can just continue reading a chapter or something that you're reading, or maybe it's a short story. 6, stand up for yourself. Now, you're probably thinking, like I'm actually thinking, where would I be standing? What situation would I be standing up for myself? And then it's like, oh, well, I'm sure I can probably think of something by then anyway. Even if it's just a small thing, doesn't have to be big. Day 7, face your fear, whatever that fear might be. 8, wear what you want. Okay, might be a bit sort of dodgy. If what you're wearing is actually not really something that might be a bit offensive, but maybe in your own personal private time at home, wear what you want. 9, do something new. Yeah. And 10, so they look fairly straightforward in terms of maybe something that we could actually work on. But I do want to put a challenge out there, at least one every month, not necessarily for 30 days, but this one is 30 days, and it's a good one to actually work on yourself anyway. So I will see if I can actually just get the link, and I'll put this as a post on my personal profile and on this page as well. All right, so now I'll give you a little insight and I'll share the good news that I had earlier today. But I've been working on a coaching program around basically health. It is health, and it's what I basically did last year, and I'm continuing to do, and that is, putting yourself on a better health path to what you were on, and with it, whether it's actually to lose weight or to somehow make progress to improving your well-being, then this is why I've decided to put a little coaching program based on my experience. So oh, okay. Well, all right. Yes, you probably noticed that there is actually a URL to a website, and it has this launching soon, which is part of my list of to-do things that I'm basically frantically trying to actually put together information. But I'm going to commit to actually having this completed by, tomorrow. 24 hours. So about this time tomorrow, if I need to actually come on earlier. I mean, this is 11 o'clock evening session, but anyway, you do catch the replay. So thank you for those who actually do watch the replay. But yeah, 24 hours from now, I'm going to have this completed because as they say, imperfect action is better than no action. So I do have an outline of what it's essentially a funnel. It's not really a website. I don't want to get too technical about it, but the funnel that I'm actually creating is going to be something that I'll be giving away some journals in exchange for an email address, and then just sort of showing you as you sort of progress through this funnel some of the things that I've created that you may decide to take up or maybe not. But anyway, 24 hours from now, I'm going to have this completed so that when you go to eathealthyfightdiabetes.com, it's not going to have this page of launching soon. It's actually going to have some actual graphics and some words on it and some pictures of me. All right. Okay. So that's what I'm working on. The good news that I actually got today is that this is actually a little coaching program that I have been working on, and almost complete. It's almost completed, but I'm launching it on Sunday. And it's basically how I built a challenge mindset to lose 100 pounds in 10 months naturally. So I think on my personal page, you've probably seen, these pictures on here. I've got my little 2-minute trailer video where I will actually show you basically an outline of the things that I'm actually going to cover, because I'm going to cover my 5-phase framework, which I think I will for now just continue to call it my Power 5 framework. But this is a little program that I've put in where I'm going into detail, basically what I will actually be, what I went through to, one, you can learn from, you can adopt, and I'll also be throwing in some bonuses of, little mini programs that will be available to you just to help people get answer the question of like, oh, how do I start this, health journey and things like that, or how did you start? And maybe I can get some ideas from that. So I just got approval to actually offer this on a mastermind.com platform. So that's a bit of a sneak peek. I'll give you the sneak peek actually of some of the things I will actually cover. Let me have it blow this up. Okay, so this one is the first framework. I think I missed the first page. Building a challenge mindset. So this is about the mindset to lose weight. And what I'm going to cover is basically it's like asking the question, how did we even get here? How did I get here after 14 years? How did I get to this position? And why now in July did I make a decision and then a commitment to actually do something about it? And then, of course, the power of goals for what it will make of you to achieve it, which is basically, I took this from the Jim Rohn, who's a well-known motivational personal development speaker. And he got it from his mentor, where it's like you set your goals, but you set really huge, massive goals, not for the actual fact that you get the goals in the end, but who you become as you go about trying to achieve it, right? So, and then just looking at the whole part of making a decision, finding the commitment, acting on it, always important, the actual acting on your decision, and then completing it. So having that fulfillment that you can actually complete a challenge and things, and just how the power of the mindset is very important to actually work through that. And every time you go through these phases and complete it, you just get stronger in your mind to be able to sort of accomplish and go ahead and take up other challenges, things. And this is very important. It's building a power network of support and experts. And I've got like a mini power network of support that's in like specialist support, various doctors that are in that nutrition field that I'm part of their groups, or I watch their YouTube, lessons, or they read some of their books that they actually released. But in all of those areas, like with exercise, I've even got a support group of, and they're basically women that I find that I can relate to in terms of how they do their exercises, right? That's one example. In the area of sleep, there are some people who are very they're competent in what they know about sleep and the power of actually sleep. So it's just how I went about building a network of a small group, you know, not everybody, because you can get all confused if everybody's actually, um, you know, they've got their own sort of opinions and you're sort of like wondering, oh, okay, which one shall I actually follow or which one I can relate to? So it's just walking through that process of how I built a power network of support and experts. So that's the mindset one. Also, obviously, a quote, my favorite quote, which is my banner on my personal profile: from challenge comes change. Thanks. And then I will have like the first 30 days, something that I did in the very first 30 days in each of those modules. So for example, in this mindset one, because I was coming out of a Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within virtual event, the one of the components of the 10-day challenge was basically this priming exercise, which is gratitude or meditation and or prayer, you know, for you know, just to have a form of prayer where you actually just praying in the morning or the first thing in the morning, and you have that. And this particular video is like 14 minutes, but you just have that alone time that you can actually reflect, be grateful for what you have, where you are, and then just reflect on what your goals are for the future, things like that. So this particular exercise was fantastic for me in terms of building that and strengthening my mindset and things. All right, so the next module, and I'm still giving you a sneak peek on this, why what you eat is 80% of weight loss. Okay, now we've probably heard this before. You can't outrun a bad diet. Okay, so nutrition is very, very important. And what I will actually cover in there is why managing your nutrition contributes to 80%, sometimes 90% of losing weight. So for all those people who don't really like to exercise or do that physical part of their weight loss journey, that's good news. Just manage and control your nutrition, and you are more than halfway there to losing weight. Yep, I was. Because it was the 10-day health challenge, my first one that I started off with was no carbs, no meat, no dairy, no sugar and things. I was basically eating fruit and vegetables for 10 days. But I developed quite a liking for it. And because I do cook, I was able to actually make, you know, interesting flavored vegetables and things without by abiding by their, you know, their requirements too, you know, not cooking on with seed oils. And it's just basically, I didn't even use oil for the first 10 days. I just used water in the stir fry, in the wok, and just season that up and just threw the vegetables in, because it doesn't take long for the vegetables to go through. And then I got a bit tired of vegetables after a while, because it's like you either steam them or you stir them or you roast them. Yeah, different ways of doing it. But I did like fruit, and this was way before I actually understood the fructose component of fruit, of some of the fruit. And because my primary goal was to reverse my pre-diabetes, I had to focus in on the fact that it's like what I was eating as well. So even though they sort of said, yeah, eat fruit, and they did come up with some suggestions of good fruit and not so good fruit, I managed to curb my fruit right down to now where today I will actually eat mainly berries and strawberries. I have had the occasional banana, but that's really high in carbs. So if I want to really try to control my insulin levels, yeah, the fruit is mainly berries and things. I also now go into what is keto, because after the 100 days, I started listening and watching doctors and other, health professionals talk about low carb, high fat being a maintainable type of way of eating and things. So I wanted to understand a little bit more about that. So that I just cover that one, and why that isn't actually a fad. It's not a fad at all. It's actually, there's a lot of people who are on this type of diet and are finding that that's easy to actually maintain. So that's what I'm covering in the nutrition part. A quote. I have a quote for every one of these modules. A healthy outside starts from the inside. And what I am going to suggest for the first 30 days regarding nutrition is this challenge, this 14 days without sugar challenge. I started my one with a 10-day detox challenge, so it was a lot stricter than this one. But I do find that this one's probably, this is probably going to be really hard for a lot of people who are actually, most of their diet is actually this, and they're going straight onto it. But I feel that there's a little bit more, it's more simplistic than what the 10-day detox one was that I actually tried thing. Because remember, I did this challenge after a 3-day weekend where we were focused in on mindset and just overall health. So for those ones who are just brand new, this is actually probably a good one to actually just start off with and things. So, and of course, you will get, I will do some new journals, because I think the journals that I had were just the month of May. So I'll put some new journals on there so that for those who are actually starting in June, then they can download them for free. Okay. Now, third module is fasting. Now, this one I haven't really talked about, but I have to say this is the hidden secret to sustainable weight loss and the really going after diabetes in a big way. So I cover, because I've been intermittent fasting and actually doing extended fasting and alternate day fasting. So I've tried those three for over 8 months, I think. So I probably consider myself probably a bit experienced in this area, but I go through what is fasting, and that fasting is not starving yourself, because you can actually, you don't have to continually fast. You can actually eat. Listen to your body. If it's telling you that you're actually really hungry or you're feeling really dizzy and all those kind of things, it's not that kind of real strict regimen where you have to actually continue to fast. You just listen to your body about which one actually, what it's actually telling you and things, and then you work up to it. Because I worked up to it. Intermittent fasting can start off really in the beginning just by not eating breakfast or eating your dinner maybe 1 hour earlier, if possible. Okay, so you just work up to these things, not straight into like, oh my God, I'm not going to eat now, because Bernie said don't eat, kind of thing. Understanding why fasting leads to sustainable, easy to maintain weight loss, and the reversal of prediabetes. And this is not just my experience. This will be, I'm going to share basically because I'm in that fasting method group by Dr. Jason Fung and Megan Ramos. And there are a lot of people on there basically sharing way too many success stories on this one over long periods of time. So it's not just me having success in this one. And just some ideas of how best to start intermittent fasting. Okay, here's my quote. Fasting is not so much a treatment for illness, but a treatment for wellness. It's by Dr. Jason Fung. And then the tip for the first 30 days regarding fasting. Here's some easy ones. Like I said, eat your dinner an hour earlier. Eat your first meal maybe later in the morning, ideally around lunchtime. One of the common ones is the 16-8 intermittent fasting plan, which basically what that means is that you've fasted for 16 hours. That means you haven't eaten anything. You do drink water. You can drink water, and you can drink herbal teas. I drink green tea or peppermint tea, and I do have water with slices of lemon. But the 16 hours, well, 8 hours of that could actually be you asleep. So you've only got another 8 hours, and say, because people don't really eat and then go to sleep straight away, right? So there's always that time after you finish dinner, and then you go to sleep. And then if you actually eat later in the morning, then you do probably on average, you've fasted for about 16 hours. And then the 8 is basically your window that you can actually eat. And that doesn't mean that you now go for 8 hours and just eat constantly. Okay, common sense, people. The suggestion is that in those 8 hours, you have maybe your lunch, and then you have your dinner. No in between meals, no snacks. Okay, so when you eat your lunch and then your dinner, you're eating to what they call satiety, which is basically you're eating till you're no longer hungry. So your lunch is, I mean, you know in yourself when you're full, and when you're actually overeating. So it's not saying have a really tiny little calorie controlled lunch. It's actually saying in your 8-hour window, eat something, eat whatever your lunch would be, and dinner, eat your protein, your high fat protein, your red meat, your fish or your chicken, and a good sizable portion of either salad or vegetables and things. So that's the intermittent fasting plan, which is a good one to actually just do for the first, I say 30 days. But it's good to actually just build up that fasting muscle. Okay. The fourth module is exercise. And what I find when I do my exercise, it's not really to lose weight. It's more the fact that the nutrition part, when I've actually controlled it, I am losing weight. The exercise part is to actually help with toning and strengthening. And the fact that, if you're going to lose a lot of weight really quickly, you'll have excess skin. So either if you can afford it, and later on down the track when you've got a lot of excess skin or whatever, then you could probably have surgery done to remove it. But I'm more of that one where you just do things naturally. Okay, so I'm not in a hurry. I basically have been, ever since I started, exercised every day. And I'm not saying that I go for runs or I do these real big intensive high interval training. No, I worked up to it, and I'm a big fan of your Pilates style. A lot of the stretching and the toning, and using exercise bands for strengthening my arms. And yeah, so the topics are basically understanding the power of just moving your body. As they say, if you don't move, if you don't move it, you'll lose it. Okay, so your brain needs to be constantly told that you are using parts of your body. So to get to work on it. Why exercise is only around 10% of weight loss. I'll go into that. And how exercise helps mainly with your mental health, which is basically just because it's feeding your brain, right? What it's doing, de-stressing, cortisol levels, I guess, are going down, probably. I would say most probably. And what YouTube videos helped me lose inches. Now, I think to date, we are over 10 months since I started, almost a year, but I think, and I'll have to confirm this, but I've lost basically 9 inches off my waist thing. And so a good part of that is obviously nutrition, but also another part is the fact that the exercises that I do. So I'm going to share with you exactly the YouTube videos, and it's a playlist. It's not one video that, that you see a headline going, do this for 7 days and you'll lose whatever. No, I found for me, I had to do a combination of YouTube videos. And so I created all these playlists that I basically followed for either 7 days, 10 days, 14 days. I think the most I ever did was 22 days. And then I measured the results I measured what I was at the beginning and then the results at the end. And then, yes, part of that, like I did with the mindset module, it's like, who are my favorite online exercise YouTubers? And I do have there's probably about 4 of them that I like their exercises that they do. So I'll share that with you in here. The quote for this one is, one day you will tell your story of how you overcame what you went through, and it will be someone else's survival guide. And that is so true. Okay, so your first 30 days when it comes to exercise will be access to the YouTube videos that I followed in my first 30 days. And as I wrote here, the goal here is just to move, right? If you're coming from someone who who wasn't very active, or is not that active, or maybe have difficulty actually moving, then just starting off very light, right? So 14 years of inactivity, where basically, because I've been working at home for the last 10 years. So really, I was just going from my bedroom to my office, which was on the same level. And the only sort of exercise I had was if I would walk downstairs to the kitchen, open the fridge, and then come back upstairs. And I did this for probably a few times. I mean, I do go outside thing, but not often. I'm sort of a real homebody in a way, but I mean, I was not great with inactivity, and I had a lot of that when I would have the blood tests done over those years. I was always deficient in vitamin D. So I was basically just taking vitamin D when I should have actually just been, going outside for that. Pure laziness. That's what it is. So hours of sitting at a computer, limited exercise working at home. So my whole goal with exercise when I started this was just to simply start moving again. And this walk at home YouTube playlist that I did for the first 30 days was because I actually quite like walking at home rather than outdoors. You know, it's just convenient. But it was also the fact that I knew that I could be consistent. And that's the key word here, consistent, that what you selected to do is something that you would actually be able to do every day and things. So rather than, you know, do something that's real high intensity thinking, oh, I'll do that. And then it's like you're really sore and then you start, you know, and you're not consistent and that drops off and things. So, all right. And then I think the last module, very important one, is sleep and why sleep makes you stronger. Okay, so the topics I would actually cover in this one is why a good night's sleep is important to good health, what happens to our body when we sleep, why sleeping longer helps with weight loss. Yes, you can lose weight while you're sleeping. My favorite ideas on just how to improve your sleep and what happens when you don't get enough sleep. And I, for probably 4 years, would average only for 4 years would average only like 4 hours of sleep a night. I don't know how that was, but I had developed that really bad habit of just being able to just grab 4 hours of sleep. So it's taken me a little while to actually read up and look at the benefits of actually getting a good night's sleep and what it does to you in terms of your weight loss and being able to bring your cortisol levels down so that you're, you know, not so stressed and anxious about things. The quote, sleep that soothes away all our worries, sleep that puts each day to rest, sleep that relieves the weary laborer and heals hurt minds, by William Shakespeare. And the first 30 days is basically me sharing some ideas on just being able to, you know, get a good habit in those first 30 days. So setting a time to relax and de-stress. Yeah, and this is actually just me being transparent. The fact that it's actually 11:40 at the moment. Number one, I've been talking too long, but two, it's midnight. But I do actually sleep in a little bit longer. So I used to be the one where I'd go to sleep earlier and wake up really early, but I am able, because I do work at home, I can actually sleep in a little bit later, and I will actually get some rest if my body's actually telling me to get some rest, maybe in the afternoon. Maybe it's just a power nap, I think. So that's just saying that I do find it challenging to add in an extra 3 hours each night, but I am working on it and getting better because I do understand the benefits of what my body does when it is asleep. So as Dr. Berg, that's one of those online experts, said, your body is in deep fat burning mode when it's asleep. So waking up early to exercise is not actually necessary. How interesting is that? Okay, so that's basically it. I didn't mean to go on that long, but that is, oh, how do you rate well? I like Canva. But that's basically just a sneak peek of what I will actually cover. But this session, which is going to be on Sunday, is around about 3.5, 4 hours. So it is really and because there's time for a Q&A, it is actually a live one, where people can actually sort of join in. It is actually a paid session, but I'm thinking that I might do a bit of a rehearsal maybe, where I will just go through it and have the invitation open for those of you who might be interested in just, checking in and listening to what I do before I actually do the actual live session and things. So let me see how far I get with actually putting all those details together. Okay, so that is basically it for tonight. So which is a sneak peek on what I've actually been working on. And two, I will put a challenge up based around the mindset on my personal profile. Very welcome to join me in this new challenge. And I will leave it for now. And I should stop sharing so you can actually see me. Basically sort of wave good night. Oh, I actually did want to show my latest All Black. I don't know whether I've worn this top before. I think I have. But yeah, favorite sports team. Favorite sports team. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's enough from me. I will catch you tomorrow. Something else that will come to me. All right. Bye-bye.